Hello folks, here's Johnny again. So, the deadline is over. The deadline was September 15th, that was last Saturday. Usually, well, that kind of meant your Saturday evening. Until then you had time. And now I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to it. I haven't looked in my inbox for the last couple of days. I had friends come over, so I didn't really have time for this whole contest. Well, let's check it out. How many entries we have in total now? Oh my goodness. 176. 3 whole pages. Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit of work. So, if you're wondering why your mix hasn't been in a review video yet, well, it's because there are a lot of mixes now. Just be patient, okay? So, let's just go on, shall we? First one for today is by Patrick Park. Oh yeah, and as I mentioned in my last video, I'm gonna have to skip through the mixes a little bit so I don't waste too much time listening through a whole mix when I already know exactly what I think of the mix and when I already gave you enough pointers. Okay, it sounded like you completely left out the lo-fi kick and snare in the beginning. Yeah, they could do that if that makes sense. Well, you know what? I'm not going to judge that point right now. Okay, right off the bat, it's quite harsh in the top range and pretty scooped in the mid range. I feel the bass is super muddy. I'm gonna have to check that out right away. Yeah, the whole low end is kind of muddied up. May want to work on your bass tone a little bit more to keep the low end cleaner. And also the rhythm guitar could perhaps benefit from some low end compression so that the palm mutes don't get overbearingly loud in that and muddy everything up. You have some pretty cool roomy effect on the vocals, but it's also one of those things that sounds really cool in the verse, but I wouldn't keep it all the time. In the choruses and bigger parts, you may want to keep the vocals a bit more straightforward. The kick gets drowned out a little bit. It could be just a little bit louder. I think that would already be enough. Yeah, the solo also has a tough time to really be up front, because the rhythm guitars are just too scooped and scratchy in their top range. So you may want to work a little bit more on your frequency balance to get it a bit smoother. Okay, but the guitar tones themselves, it's again more kind of stylistic thing. In general, I wouldn't say it's a bad tone. I would just say that kind of style of tone doesn't really fit for this song. And it has trouble adding, or it has trouble having enough clarity for what the guitars actually do. Next one is by Agnis Aldins, aka Nisvers. Names will be in the video description anyway. This sounds pretty solid so far. I don't really have any complaints. Low end. Let's check the low end. I'm running out of space. Yep, solid. The hi-hat is perhaps a little bit loud, could come down somewhat. Actually, you know, since the deadline is over, I can point out way more things or give you way more ideas. See, there's actually already a lot of hi-hats in the overhead mics. So the extra hi-hat track actually doesn't need to be very, very loud in there. It only adds a bit more body, so to say, to the hi-hat. So you just want to fade that in to support the rest of the hi-hat that you already hear, you know, with the overheads. But yeah. And because of that hi-hat just going berserk, the vocals have a little bit of a hard time standing out. That was a cool effect. Yep, again, you want to have the vocals to be same level of presence as... you want to have the solo be the same level of presence as the vocals. Here it kind of gets lost a little bit under the rhythm guitars and the hi-hat again. But otherwise, this is a pretty solid mix. So yeah, good one. Next one is by Ragnar Kinbestol. Kinbestol. He's from Norway. Okay, overall this is again a more rougher sounding mix, which is cool by the way. But at this point I kind of already want to say I'm missing a little bit of more energy, a bit more push in the music. The vocals could be a bit brighter. They sound kind of mufflish. Not too much really, but just enough that it makes me say it needs more presence in the upper mid-range. Yeah, the vocals sound a little bit too dry, I kind of want to say. Yeah, overall it's not a bad mix, but it lacks some energy, some more push. And you could help that by doing some more compression work. And also on some elements a bit more EQ work. Like the vocals could be brighter to make them more exciting, more upfront. But otherwise you're going in the right direction. So next one is by Dark Shape Studios. Okay, this one also sounds a bit more on the rougher side, but it does have more energy to it. Actually, this is a pretty solid mix. But there's something about the low end with the bass. It feels a little bit muddy and foggy. And it also sounds like there's too much filtering going on. And missing some energy in the sub range to give it all a bit more oomph, a bit more thump, a bit more punch. Yeah, also solo to vocal ratio is good. Overall, this is a pretty solid mix actually. No real complaints here from my side, except for, you know, low end of the bass could be a bit cleaner. Okay, I don't even know how many mixes I've done now. I'll just go on until I'm getting bored. Next one is by Marcelo Campitelli. I bet you have a great time listening to me butchering your names. Right off the bat, it sounds like the rhythm guitars are monoed or centered. But the second set of rhythm guitars seem to be panned. Yeah, the rest of the mix is actually pretty solid, but the main rhythm guitars are just whoop, collapsed. Not sure what you did there, if that was intentional or not. Yeah, the whole mix is really cool, but with the main rhythm guitars that you have two tracks of that are supposed to be panned left and right, with them being collapsed to the center, you lose a lot of the big fat energy in the song. And that is quite the bummer, because otherwise this mix is great. Next one by Nath, ? Overall, it's a good mix, but the vocals are too quiet. Yeah, overall it's a good mix, it's just the vocals and the solo could come up a little bit in volume. Next one's by Nicholas Arizpe? Read the name description, please. Not quite sure what to make of this one at this point. Overall, the balance seems good. Volume balance and stuff. The guitars sound like you used the small guitar cabinet speaker, like a 1x8 or something. Not sure what to make of it. I mean, it still works in the mix, but you notice there's this honky mid-range and this kind of fuzzy top end. Not fizzy or anything in a bad way, it's just the quality of it sounds kind of fuzzy. The vocals sound like you have a little bit much of a upper mid-range boost in there, which at times make them sound a little bit telephone-ish. Okay, overall it's not a bad mix, but again the vocals sound a little bit too telephone-ish in that upper range. Next one's by Forrest Larson. there is a lot of distortion going on those guitars. Wow. You may want to dial that back because it's just too much. You lose a lot of definition. And also here in the verse, you kind of want everything to come down a little bit, you know, just have a nice groove in there, but then that distortion just makes it too fuzzy. And also the staccato bits don't really come through as such because the distortion just kind of carries on. Or is it the guitars? I don't know, but something in there is definitely pretty crazy. There's something going on in that 300 to 400 hertz range. It could be bass guitar and room mics of the drums. Could be that you compressed the room mics a little bit too much. I mean, in general, it's not a bad idea to really crush the room mics to give the drums that extra oomph and power. But then you want to make sure you don't fade it in too much because it easily messes up with everything. Yeah, it's the room mics. Less the guitars, more the room mics. But somehow it meshed together so perfectly that it sounded like the guitars were overly distorted. So you already sent me the mix twice, because with the first one you said it wasn't the right one. But now I clicked your second mix and you're missing the solo in there. Or I do hear it very faintly in the background, but could be that it's just a DI and not really a processed solo. Overall, it's not a bad mix, just the room mics really that are too loud in there. That lower mid-range, like 200 to 400 hertz, is messing. It's messing with the rest of the mix. Next one is by Aurélien Cros. I'm not laughing about names, I'm laughing about myself, because I'm not good with names. This is a really good mix so far. Perhaps just the bass guitar could use a bit of a dip in that honky mid-range. Yeah, it's very solid mix. Very, very solid. So next one is by George Iliadis. Wait, he also sent it to me twice. Okay, then I'm going to go with the second one. Nice aggressive fuzz. Okay, that second guitar layer is a bit loud, it pops out too much. You kind of want to have the two guitars meld together to form more of a unit. Yeah, here I almost only hear the second guitar layer instead of the main guitar riffs. Okay, the extra vocal tracks, I can't hear them at all, actually. Okay, it's not a bad mix per se, it's just volume balance between the guitar tracks you may want to check out a little bit more. Okay, I think I'm just gonna keep it at that for today. I don't want this video to drag on for too long, but I think this is definitely a better pace for now because I still have... Okay, over here I Ah, okay, now I understand. I have still a total of 144 mixes to go through. Yeah, that's what that is. Okay, 144 mixes. But I am very glad that this has actually such a great participation. I'm positively surprised. Yeah, let's put it like this. All right, I will see you next time.